I mean, given the game on Friday, is there a different objective or maybe just a little bit more intensity in practice today?
I mean, practice should be intense every day. We practice. We're a team that practices hard, and maybe a hair different focus today because the competitiveness wasn't as high as it needed to be in comparison with our opponent on Friday.
You kind of talked about it right there with competitiveness and how it matched up with Charlotte. I mean, is that how you break it down now that there's been a couple of days to look back on that game?
Yeah, I mean, I told our guys that Charlotte had lost a few in a row. I think they were one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. I thought they showed that yesterday. They held Hershey to 14 shots on goal in Hershey. I know what their record doesn't say that, but the lineup they have right now, coming off a few losses, how heavy and old they are, I knew it was going to be on, and I didn't do a good enough job of getting our guys to understand that. And there's things that we did well in the game. There's things that we didn't do well in the game from a tactical standpoint, from a execution standpoint. But they were just much firmer and harder on the puck. And puck battles either lead you to defense or they lead you to offense. If you win a puck battle, your team gets to play offense. If you lose a puck battle, your team plays defense. And they won far too many puck battles on Friday.
Shifting to some roster moves that were announced earlier today, I guess first we'll talk about the guy that's here, Isak Roseyan. Played 7 games in the NHL. Fulfills a lifelong dream of making it there, right? So what can he take away from that experience to better prepare him for that next opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, that's invaluable lessons that you can learn, especially young in your first time. You go up there, you gain some insight at what the league feels like, how it operates, what the opponents are like, what road trips are like. What's your daily routine like? What is it like to play in Madison Square Garden? Like, there's all of those things. You're gathering information and intelligence to then work on and put in your own game and make you a better hockey player. So, and I also think some belief. There's, 2 or 3 of those games, he was really good. He was solid, rock solid in pretty much every game. 2 or 3 of those games, he was really good, was all over the net, a lot of scoring chances. And you gain a little further belief in yourself that you're on the right track and you're right there.
And on the other side, Brett Murray, it's been almost 2 years since he's gotten this opportunity, and you see how hard he works every day. He's a leader on this team for a reason, right? So I think this probably falls similar to some of the other guys you've talked about in the past as a really special call-up to see.
I was really excited for Brett. That group of 4, Rusek, Weisbach, Byro, Murray, all at times last year probably deserved or earned the right to that call-up, but they just didn't happen because of lack of injuries and roster spots. And, we don't do what we did last year and go that far in the playoffs without Brett Murray. He willed us back in that Syracuse series with his physicality and his offense. In spite of the poor game on Friday from our team, I thought he was our best player in that game. Was hard, was heavy, was on the net, had a lot of scoring chances. So he's earned this opportunity, and I'm excited for him.
And talking about him a little bit more, I mean, the kind of player and person he is too, right? He's a power forward. He's getting whacked at all game long. He's physical. He's dealt with some injuries. For him to just constantly persevere and continue to be, as you'd said in the past, one of the top power forwards in the AHL, this has got to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's something he's had this, it's been a 3-4 year journey of trying to go from being a 6'5" guy with a really good mind and a good stick to being a power forward with a nasty side and a physical edge who also has offense to him. And that journey takes time. And it doesn't happen overnight, and it is a work in progress. And he's just made great strides in imposing his physical will on the game more often. He's always had the mind and the stick to be able to create offense, which he continues to do. But the physical side and the violent side of him has certainly grown a lot in the last few years, and we're really proud of him for it.
We talked at the start of this about Charlotte, and you've talked at length about how tough it is to play in the North Division. But now you're getting this stretch against Atlantic Division teams. What do you see? What's kind of the makeup of that division?
It's hard to say because you're not in it every game. I think when you're not living in it, it's hard to analyze what the division feels like because divisional games carry a little more hostility at times. So to me, when you go out of division, it's a little more team to team. Charlotte is an excellent team, was heavy. Springfield has a really good team. Obviously, we're familiar with their goaltender, Subi. It'll be great to see them. Not probably great to play against them, but it'll be great to see them. They have one of the best, if not the best, lines in the American Hockey League. Pekka's line is just dynamic all over the score sheet. So they're going to be hard to play against. Hartford's off to a great start. I think they're 15-5, and Wilkes-Barre's always a demanding team and a hard place to play. So this is a really hard trip that we're on right now.
To kind of follow up on that, I mean, when you look at these teams, Wilkes-Barre's barely missed the playoffs in 20 years. Springfield was in the finals 2 years ago, and you mentioned the start Hartford's off to. I mean, would it be fair to say this is one of, if not the most difficult schedule on paper so far this week?
I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't look at it like week to week like that. I'd probably look at it more opponent to opponent. But I think anytime you're on a 3-game road trip against 3 teams that are probably shaded to be older, pretty heavy teams, you're going to have your hands full. And it's going to be a challenge. And obviously we weren't up to that challenge on Friday. And we need to make sure we are on Wednesday.
Last thing I'll ask is, this group has, dropped 3 of its last 4, and you look at how tough this division is, things you talk about, and you see the standings, and everyone's jockeying for position. So in a 3-game road trip like this, what do the Amherst need to do to refocus and kind of get back on track?
I'm not worried about the trip. I'm worried about Wednesday. So how do you have a good trip? You play good on Wednesday. And playing good doesn't guarantee anything. But you raise your competitive level, you raise your willingness and your ability to win puck battles and get your team on offense. You defend with a little more vigor, and you do everything you can to put your team in position to try to win on Wednesday. And then you go from there. So my focus is on getting us in the right mindset, both mentally and physically, in the proper place to have a very competitive, spirited effort on Wednesday.